Just when I thought we were finally finished with this massive skill tree update and all the fun it has brought to the table, our friend Jake there went and dropped a suggestion for more, and I said, sure. He noticed that certain Wormwood affinities were synergizing on the backs of Beefalo while also giving us a little extra to test around the edges, so I figured we'd give it all a go, yes. And first things first, we'll need the perks. The main ones in question obviously being Wormwood's Brightshade skills at the top right there, so don't forget them, but you know what we can reasonably yet unfortunately forget? Jake's additional idea for synergy with Beefalo and Salamanders. For you see, we'll just never be able to have enough insight unless we spawn them, despawn ourselves via the Celestial Portal, respect our skill trees, and then do what Jake was thinking there, but there's a slight problem. If we do this, the Salamanders will no longer be loyal. So yeah. Still, the core ideas remain intact, so let us just talk about all that, yes. For those who don't know, Wormwood could give our Brightshade gear 2 upgrades, one of which sees the sword occasionally spawning tunneling vines to help whip our targets for 39 additional damage a slap. Said vines do this twice guaranteed, so let us just round things up to 80 extra damage for the rest of the video, yeah? And that's a pretty big deal and can stack up fast, but the biggest takeaway should be that we're doing all of this without actually lowering the durability of said sword itself. So then, considering how we can take things a step further, as effects like Wily Spices and that of Voltco Jelly do indeed apply to Beefalo as well, all of a sudden, this entire synergy can see us approaching a potential 245 damage a hit if we're lucky enough to get consistent vines. That is nothing to ignore for sure, and it technically gets a little better still once we factor in the bramble side of it all as well, as this skill locks attackers down, but also hurts them for yet another 10 damage, so if you are tanking with the Beefalo, you could very well add that to that very same 245 we mentioned. But sadly, while this perk does work, the armor's actual damage reflection does not, which is why we are only seeing that 10 per bramble here. But yes, what are the applications of all of this then? Well, to be honest, I'm gonna sit here and say I'm probably not the best one to actually ask or showcase any of this, as I don't really use Beefalo all that much. But while I will leave most of the theory crafting to those who do, I cannot ignore that lockdown bramble myself. I feel like if used strategically mined, it could be huge. And not losing durability on anything while using and seeing these abilities in play, especially if they're amplified, is worthy enough already, no matter how big the fight might be. But please feel free to share any of your thoughts and possible applications below. But before we do go, I want to quickly highlight another idea of Jake's that centers around Wormwood's petal production skill. You know, the one that generates a flower petal in our inventories every 15 seconds or so, and Beefalo obedience, for you see, while they won't raise a Beefalo's hunger, leading to no domestication points on that end mind, they will allow for easy obedience overall, which leads to infinite riding essentially, which does mean domestication increases. Now it's not the best option, but it works, and it works really well within itself, and that's the whole bloody point. It's a synergy, so make notes. But there you have it, everyone. Easily our shortest skill tree video to date, and yet it's still one that has shown us an interesting side to the otherwise disappointing third, if you know what I mean. Still, I personally believe this whole tree needs a rework to some degree, and that might just be what we discuss next, and not just for Wormwood mind. So if you do have perk ideas for Wormwood, Woody, and Wolfgang, feel free to leave them below as well. But thanks for watching, folks. Well wishes to all, get that beef, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.